Law number 3 in Robert Greene's work focuses on the idea that you should never reveal your true goals too early. He suggests that when people know your intentions, they can either try to block you, copy you, or use your aims against you. By keeping your real plans hidden, you give yourself room to move without unwanted interference. People are more at ease when they do not sense hidden motives, and they are less on guard when they believe you are open with them. This does not always mean you must lie outright. Instead, you can share parts of your plan that sound ordinary or harmless, or simply stay vague about your real endgame. The key is to let others assume they know what you are up to, while the actual target remains locked in your mind. If you think about your daily life, you might see how often you let your plans slip out. Maybe you tell a coworker exactly what you hope to achieve, or you announce your next steps to friends and family. Often there is no harm in sharing, but if you are aiming for something competitive or have a project that others might sabotage or take advantage of, it can be wise to hold back details. You do not want to draw attention that could disrupt your progress. Robert Greene points out that while you can gain trust by appearing honest, you must stay aware that full honesty can expose you to potential threats. This law is not about making enemies, it is about preserving an edge that lets you shape events in your favor. To make sense of this, imagine you have a creative idea at work that could lead to a promotion or a raise. If you speak about your idea too soon and in too much detail, people might get envious or try to jump on it before you have finished. They might steer the idea toward their own benefit, or worse, pass it off as their concept. That does not mean you should never cooperate with your team, but it does mean that when you have a plan that relies on timing or careful building of support, you will do better if you keep the most vital parts to yourself until the right moment. Another angle is that people react differently depending on what they think you want. If you clearly express that you are chasing a big reward, they might feel threatened or decide to compete with you. But if you seem content with smaller or different aims, they may relax and not stand in your way. By steering how others see your desires, you reduce friction. It is like playing a game of cards. If you wave your winning hand in everyone's face too early, they can adjust their own play to stop you. But if you keep your strong cards hidden, they will not know how to counter you. The surprise factor can be crucial when you finally show your real intentions. This law is also about protecting yourself from other people's judgments and manipulations. When your plans are unclear to them, they cannot twist your words or try to use your own goals to influence you. They might guess at what you want, but as long as you remain calm and do not overshare, their guesses will be off the mark. Robert Greene suggests that doing small things to distract others from your real direction can be very useful. You can let them focus on some project that looks important on the surface while you quietly work on what truly matters behind the scenes. The point is to avoid shining a spotlight on your real path until you have shaped it enough to withstand outside scrutiny or interference. There is a caution here. You do not want to seem sneaky in a way that destroys trust. If you pretend to be too clueless or if you are caught hiding vital information, people might feel betrayed. The goal is not to make everyone suspicious of you. The goal is to maintain control of information so that it benefits you and does not unnecessarily alarm others. Sometimes a useful approach is to be open about unimportant or harmless topics so that people assume you have nothing bigger up your sleeve. Share small details that will not hurt you if they leak out. Create a sense of familiarity so that no one thinks to dig deeper. Meanwhile, you keep the meaningful parts hidden until the time is right to reveal them. It can apply to any situation where you want to make sure your plans are not derailed. Think about negotiations, whether in business or personal matters. If the other side knows exactly what you want, they may use that knowledge to demand more from you or block you. But if they only see parts of the picture, you can maintain the advantage. You are not deceiving them maliciously, you are simply choosing when and how to share information so that it serves you best. Staying silent about your final goal during a negotiation can help you see what the other side is willing to offer without them knowing your limits or your full strategy. By controlling the flow of information, you guide the situation instead of being led by it. Consider how we often admire people who keep their cool and do not broadcast their efforts until they have a solid outcome. When they unveil their success, it looks smooth and impressive. That is partly because they did not invite complications by talking too soon. If you decide to let everyone know about your big plan from day one, you could attract critics or people who want to sabotage you. By holding back, you buy yourself time to fix issues, learn from mistakes, and gather the resources you need. Then, when you are ready, you reveal your achievement on your own terms. If people are taken by surprise, it only makes your accomplishment appear more polished and confident. There's also a psychological side to this law. People like to solve mysteries, and if they sense you are hiding something, they might dig deeper. But if you give just enough detail to seem transparent, they are more likely to stop searching for secrets. Imagine you have a box that you do not want anyone to open. If you act like you are nervous about that box and guard it constantly, curious folks will want to peek inside. But if you put a few random items in front of it or show that it is not particularly special, they might not pay attention. The same principle goes for your personal or professional ambitions. You do not have to admit every dream or intention you have. Let them see enough of you that they feel there is no hidden layer, while your real vision stays protected. In the end, this law is a reminder that revealing too much can give people leverage over you. If they know your goal, they can set traps or steal your ideas or plan their own moves ahead of you. By staying quiet or by directing attention elsewhere, you gain a buffer that lets you act freely. Greene's advice is to recognize that you cannot always be fully open in every situation. Part of being strategic is knowing what to share and when. If you keep your biggest aims tucked away until they are ready to blossom, you can move with less resistance. Your path becomes smoother because fewer people see what you are doing and fewer obstacles arise. It is not about being dishonest in a harmful way. It is about managing how others perceive you and your intentions. Robert Greene's ideas often spark debate since some people feel uncomfortable with the idea of holding back or using misdirection. But it helps to see this law as a tool rather than a moral stance. You do not need to use it all the time. You can choose when it is necessary to stay under the radar. It might be at work when you are dealing with a tough environment. It might be in a personal passion project that could face undue criticism. Or it might simply be in an area of your life where you want to avoid unwanted opinions. Concealing your aims can help you create at your own pace without the burden of every onlooker's thoughts. Those who master this law learn to read the people around them, sense their motivations, and figure out how much to reveal. They adapt according to each situation. Sometimes you can be more open if you see that the people around you are supportive. At other times, you keep your cards close because the environment is competitive or unstable. The power in this approach comes from choice. You decide who sees the real plan, who sees a smaller part of it, and who is left in the dark. By applying it well, you guard your progress and let your ideas mature before the world can interfere. That is the heart of Robert Greene's Law 3. If you let everyone in on your journey from the start, you may hand them the means to shape your path in ways you do not want. But if you guide the story carefully, showing only what is safe to reveal, you stay in control. You can time your announcements, build support when you are ready, and direct the conversation to your advantage. And when the moment comes to unveil your final outcome, you will be prepared to handle whatever reactions come your way. This keeps your goals alive and strong, sheltered from early attacks or meddling, and allows you to achieve what you set out to do in a more secure, strategic way.